Good morning. Good morning. Wonderful. Great to see you all here this morning. My name is Tracy George, and it's a great pleasure that I welcome us. Please allow me to have Dr. Gail P.C. Rigobert, co-founder of the AI Global South Summit, Ms. Kim Lauren Lubin, co-founder as well of AI Global South Summit, Mr. Jermaine Anthony, representing OECS, Mr. Jared Samuel, Program Committee AI Global South Cyber Security Expert, Mr. Campia Polio Springer, representing West Global, Dr. Winston Fulges, and Dr. Merle Sinclair, Vice Principals of Arthur Lewis College, Ms. Janelle Alzair, Ministry of Education, Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Training, Ms. Tamani Godard, Legal Expert on Artificial Intelligence, Ms. Cohn Smith, Alamander Tours and Travel, specially invited members of the media, esteemed colleagues, online viewers on Facebook, YouTube. Good morning again. Very excited. The press launch of AI Global South Summit taking place here in St. from October 2022. You know where? Do we know where it's taking place? At the Royal Back. So you go online. This morning, we are excited that this press launch was a groundbreaking event, uniting policymakers, industry leaders, and innovators, global south and north, to explore AI's transformative, spearheaded by none other than Dr. Gail Crickabut and Kim Lauren Lubin. The summit seeks to position the global south key player in global tech and empowering the developing nation to harness AI in sectors such as tourism, agriculture, and education. Thank you, all of you here this morning, part of this initiative. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with that said, it's a great pleasure to welcome Dr. Gail T.C. Riggle to give us an overview of the AI Summit and its. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. George, and with your kind permission, good morning. Welcome to the press launch of the AI Global South Summit, taking place in our beautiful, vibrant, from October 29th to 31st October. We gather here not just to announce, but to ignite a crucial conversation that seeks to uplift the voices, talents, and lived experiences of those as we embark on this journey together. We recognize that the impact of artificial intelligence on our region is, while technology has the power to revolutionize industry and elevate, we also acknowledge the many challenges we face. Many of our countries, especially small islands, have historically been marginalized in the global discourse on technology development, often left to navigate the complexity of AI with limited. This summit aims to change that narrative. We believe that the time has come to privilege the knowledge and experiences of our citizens of the Global South to ensure that our perspectives are not only included but are central to the conversation about AI. By bringing together minds from diverse backgrounds, we are creating a platform where we can share insight, challenge assumptions, and collaborate on innovative solutions that reflect our unique. I would like to take a moment, if you would allow me, please, to express our heartfelt gratitude to the various government agencies, organizations, and personalities who have joined us in developing a brain trust for this. Your intellectual input and shared experiences have been invaluable in shaping the agenda and the activities that will enhance the holistic experience at this particular event. Together, we have crafted a program that truly reflects our experiences, our needs, our aspirations, ensuring that every voice is heard and valued. Over the course of 3 days, we will engage in meaningful conversations on various the ethical implications of AI, its potential to drive sustainable development, and how we can harness this technology to address local issues, from education to healthcare, from tourism to agriculture, from the creative sector to youth empowerment, and more. We will explore how we can ensure that AI serves as a tool for social and economic empowerment rather than a source of further inequality. Let us also be clear, this summit is not just about conversations. It is about action. We will work together to develop concrete strategies that can be implemented long after. Our goal is to create a collaborative network that champions our interests and advocates our as we prepare to welcome participants across the globe. Let us remember that this is our opportunity to narrative around technology. Together we will shape a future where AI is not a barrier, a bridge that connects our community to join us in this endeavor. Let us bring our diverse talents and perspectives to the forefront and engage in vital discourse. The time has come for the Global South to not just participate in the conversation about AI, but to summit organizers and I look forward to welcoming you to this summit. And foreigners who will be joining.
Will the world be a better place when we embrace the limitless possibilities of AI? The answer? Absolutely. AI holds the power to transform societies, solve global challenges, drive sustainable growth, especially by the ingenuity of the Global South. At the AI Global South Summit 2024, innovation meets purpose. Join us as the Global South emerges as a leader in artificial intelligence, offering fresh perspectives on ethical AI, cultural preservation, and technology for development. Hear from thought leaders like Dr. Jules from UACF, Dr. Paul Hector from UNESCO, Javid Samuel, and Sonovic Desti. Be part of vital conversations that will shape our future. It's where innovation, ethics, global collaboration unite, drive meaningful change. AI Summit 2024, where empowering futures are built together. Co-chairs of the summit, Dr. Neil Rigobert and Kemp Lauren Lubin, look forward to welcome. Register today at AIGlobalSouthSummit.com and make change. 29th to 31st October, Royalton.
Fantastic video, wouldn't you say? Yes. Of course. Yes. All right, fantastic. We're not doing a round of applause, we need to do a real round of applause. Okay? Because we need to be good and we need the audience, our online viewers, to really engage in what. I think that one of the things that the operative word is our. How it is that we AI can do us, our needs, our perspective of global South. I think that is extremely important. Everything I watch on Netflix, AI is learning. But I think this summit, we're going to discuss ways that we can that AI serves us, right? The automatic way that it gets information continues to grow. That's great, because I would like AI to do a lot of things. At this point in time, we're going to hear pre-recorded remarks from Ms. Kim Lauren Lubin, who is also a co-founder of this event.
Welcome to the AI Summit voice and perspective, often left in discussion. Talk about AI, the conversation tends to advance dominant. What about the Global South? Us, AI Global South Summit aims to amplify voices from our places that are rich with innovation, yet often underrepresented in global organizations. Our goal is to shift the narrative and demonstrate AI compliance and sustainable development, addressing our local challenges that are relevant. Why are we doing this? The digital divide, unequal access to technology, AI divide, also real challenges come together not only to discuss these issues, but to share knowledge, to build partnership, and to showcase incredible AI. This summit is about building an inclusive AI culture. All voices of the AI is a tool for good, not just for profit. So what to expect? I think you should expect dynamic discussion, workshops, thought leaders, policy research, student, artists, as well as exciting presentations on AI solutions that are curated across the country. Whether you're here to learn, share, or network, the summit is also about breaking silos and fostering. What makes our summit different? Unlike other tech summit conferences, AI Global South Summit isn't about competition, technology, say, but it's about relevance. It's about solutions that matter to real culture. This summit celebrates ingenuity, resilience that are often underserved or overlooked and puts their contribution at the
so much. I think for me, some of the takeaways from this particular is the relevance. We are a resilient people, able to harness the power of AI only help solve. So with that, two co-founders working brought together a myriad of talents from the creative industry, as Brett said, from academia, the tech world, etc. With a diverse group of people that have come together to share information, how we can harness the power. And of course, we're working in collaboration with many partners. So at this point in time, I would like to welcome Mrs. Eulampia Polius Springer from the University of the West Indies Global Campus, St. Lucia, with a few remarks. Welcome.
Good morning, all. Protocol already being established. Let me, on behalf of my head, Mr. Secretary, extend the apology to we are indeed very happy to partner with AI Global South Summit. As you know, the education. This week we have a workshop for our staff and other persons in the use of AI for education. We have also started with the innovation in other areas of using AI to enhance teaching in some of our subjects, especially where we have found that in limited numbers it makes more sense to use AI to assist with the education and in order to continue with this. So we are indeed very happy to be part of this conference, this summit here in St. Lucia. We are indeed very happy to partner with AI Global South Global Summit, and we look forward to whatever contributions we can make as the University of the West Indies Global Campus here in St. Lucia. Once again, I thank you for inviting us to be part of it.
Thank you so much for your remarks. At this point in time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mr. Javed Samuel, who is the Program Committee AI Global South Summit Cyber Security Expert, to deliver a few remarks. Welcome, Javed.
Good morning, all. Thank you all for attending. Hopefully the protocol is established and my remarks. As has been discussed here so far, this conference is an exciting event that we are going to take place towards the end of October. What we want to ensure is that the Global South plays a key role in the growth of such emerging technologies in today's world. Many times we've had new technologies as they've deployed, and the Global South are more of a role of bystanders. In here, we want to make sure we are active participants and we are able to have our views, be able to air our views, make sure that the technology benefits our people. And it's really important for such technology which is disruptive, that could be both positive and negative. And we will have certain cases where folks might think they are losing. And how do we ensure and get those communications appropriate? And that is what conference, we want to seek to have discussion, and importantly, we want to be able to have concrete actions that we can take from our various institutions, our partners that we are working with in putting together this summit. Over the course of the summit, we will have, over the 3 days, 3 distinct themes. They're all interrelated, but all of critical importance. On day 1, our focus will be on education. So we'll be looking at how do we see AI impacting education, both our students in our educational institutions right now, and also importantly, our adults who will need to have continuous workforce retraining. And it's important to ensure we have this culture of lifelong education, lifelong learning, particularly as we see more and more uses of AI, that if you remain static, that is sort of where our technology, our applications may supersede and folks may feel they are being left behind. We want this to be interactive. Some of the sessions would include how can we use AI, AI techniques to improve our mathematics education, which continues to be a major challenge in our education sector in the Caribbean. On day 2, we will be focused on technology. So we will be looking at various out of St. Lucia, within St. Lucia, within the technology industry, trying to get an idea of how would AI impact the technology that we use. That could range from commerce, robotics, and various other aspects, our electronic health records. We want to focus on how does that impact what we have right now and what we may have in 5, 10, 20 years in the future. And on day 3, our focus is going to be on the youth, arts, and culture. As was mentioned earlier, this is not meant to be a tech conference. It is meant to be a conference, a summit, focusing on how is this going to impact our society. So we want to see how would artificial intelligence impact our cultural activities. This is really Creole Month after all. How can we leverage such technologies to make this a bigger event? And also, how do we secure, from a privacy, security standpoint, that folks don't feel that they are losing control of their heritage, and it's going to be created by some part of the globe, and we have lost what makes us St. Lucian, what makes us Caribbean, or part of the global south. So we want to be sure that we have those conversations, understand what are people's fears, what are things that we need to make sure we have answers to, and also discuss how this might be able to benefit us. So it's meant to be a dynamic discussion, a lot of interactive discussions. We want it to be a summit where folks attending are actually participating. So it should not be someone just simply lecturing, not a lecture, but it's meant for participating. And at the end, have concrete actions that we, as members of the Global South, are able, what we can do to continue to make sure that those emerging technologies play as positive a role for us as possible. Thank you very much, and looking forward to all the folks that will attend the summit and the great event. Thank you.
So, actuellement, moi, je voulais remercier Monsieur Javid parce que quand il dit moi salade, nous avons célébré qu'il était nous créole. Oui, nous sommes d'accord? Oui. Examen qui, demain qui ça nous a célébré? La marguerite. La marguerite. Vive la marguerite! Vive la rose! So, nous avons ici. OK. So, maintenant, when we put so we can mother language, so we continue parler créole, so we can parler actuellement anglais, pas mother language, mother language, pas mother, mother. All right, at this point in time, I would like to welcome Dr. Winston Fulgence, representing the Sir Arthur Lewis Community College.
Hi, good morning all. I will not ask for permission to adopt the protocol because Mrs. George may very well tell me no. So I will just do that. Thanks for inviting me and the college to join this conference. When I heard about it, I was a little worried because the conversation about the conference started in the middle of ChatGPT and all those LLMs coming out and terrifying everybody, every parent and so on. I'll give you an example. About 2 weeks ago, my son, 11 years old, had to write an essay. And I saw him plotting and preparing and plotting and preparing. And then he called his mother, he gave her the essay. And she was like, oh, this is lovely. I go to bed, I get a copy of the essay, and I'm reading this essay, like, very interesting. You're a smart kid. They all think all of our kids are smart. The language is very interesting. I said nothing. The next day, I heard him crying, and what's the problem? Walking around, breathing heavily. She thinks I wrote the essay in ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, what did you do? She's like, I didn't. Like, what did you do? I just put it in for punctuation. I'm bringing this example up because it is something that is in all of our lives. We don't even realize it. But in education, it's going to be a major challenge for us in the Caribbean. And at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, we're already facing that challenge. And we're already trying to put things in place, trying to get those who are the experts in the field to inform us. So we're very, very happy to be part of this conversation and part of this conference. Thanks again for inviting us. But then the thing is, when you tell an academic, he has to present something or she has to present something, and you give them no parameters, she causes problems. They didn't tell me what I was supposed to speak on. So having said thanks for inviting us, I will speak. I was speaking with Dr. Rickerwood just before we started. I was telling her I prepared something here, and it looks like an abstract. So if I get invited to the conference, so be it. I call it Embracing the Future, AI, Economic Development, and Heritage Management, because as a historical anthropologist, I'm going to lean into my aspect, my research, and my work. Of course, understanding that I am here representing Sir Arthur Lewis Community College. Today we stand on the cusp of a revolution. That is a revolution that is not only impacting our lives, we have yet to fully comprehend. One of the most transformative forces in this revolution is artificial intelligence. Its potential to drive economic development, especially in the global south, and I'm saying especially in the global south because we've been left behind by the first waves of industrial revolution, is vast, offering new avenues for progress. But as we look towards the future, it's important to recognize that our heritage, our culture, our traditions, and our history must also be a part of this journey. Why? Because it is us. AI is already transforming industries. Education is at the forefront of this change. The ability of AI to enhance productivity by automating tasks, improving decision-making, and creating efficiencies in sectors like healthcare, manufacturing, and agriculture are undeniable. For developing economies, AI represents an opportunity to leapfrog traditional stages of industrialization, modernizing faster and more cost-efficiently. Finance, AI is already optimizing investment strategies and risk management and driving economic growth, which should not be left out of this conversation and this process. But as we embrace these changes, we must not overlook the wealth and opportunities that AI brings to our heritage. Our cultural heritage is not only a source of national pride, but also a significant economic asset. And that's something I've had to grapple with, because whenever I hear this and see this and write it, I think about commodification of culture. It is something that we have to balance. I watched a speech by the Minister of Tourism yesterday. I was shaking my head. It's like, I would not want to be in this place, because you have to maintain the culture of the society, but you also have to feed people. And for the last, 40 years or so, culture has been seen as cultural as an asset, a commodity that we can actually use. But how do you use this commodity without commodifying it and making it something that is saleable? We see it all the time. The massive discussion about culture when we saw our very lovely carnival in July. The conversation still continues. Is it commodification or is it culture? Is it our identity, or are we selling something that somebody wants to consume rather than putting ourselves forward. But that's a debate for a different time. By leveraging AI, we can preserve, document, and showcase our cultural sites, our artifacts, our traditions with greater efficiency and precision. It's not only enriching our cultural identity, but also creates opportunities for tourism, for research, and education, areas in which the Global South has always been traditionally behind. We don't study ourselves, we don't document ourselves, but somebody else has been doing it for centuries. Heritage management powered by AI can open up new streams of revenue, creating jobs in conservation, archiving, digitally of course, and cultural tourism. For instance, AI can enhance documentation of historical sites. When I was in the classroom, I was able to teach about indigenous culture by visiting Machu Picchu from St. Lucia using an app. My students loved it because when you teach using these things, it's a lot more substantive. People can relate to it a lot more. Stand and speak about technology of the Inca forever, but when you can visit the site in the classroom and they begin to ask the questions, that you can start enriching the education. Technology can support virtual tours, cultural and enhance cultural treasures, making them accessible to a global audience, but also making them accessible to a local audience. I can guarantee you I can find a child in Beaufort who's in Form 5 and has never visited Pigeon Island. The island is only 27 miles long. Go figure. It can also help in predicting, mitigating the impact of environmental changes and natural disasters on historical sites, enriching our heritage and safeguarding for generations. I have a couple of colleagues right now who are working on looking at the impact of environmental change, climate change on heritage. It is something that we have to actually do because a lot of our sites, because our islands, are being washed away. One area of AI impact, one area where AI's impact will be profound is in education. AI can revolutionize how we teach and learn by providing personalized learning experiences and freeing our teachers to focus on creating and encouraging critical thinking. However, it means that there must be a paradigm shift because we have to move from being the sage on the stage to empowering our learners to do the learning on their own. In the same way, AI can revolutionize the way we teach and learn in our heritage. Like I said earlier on, our children have no access because access for them is something that has to be physical. Students can immerse themselves in virtual reconstructions of historical events or explore digital collections of artifacts from around the world, gaining a deeper understanding of cultural history. I was speaking to the curriculum developer officer, for social studies, and she was telling me they're working on teaching history in the classroom, but the teachers have no access to artifacts. Why? Because the artifacts are stored. But then as a curator, do you give a teacher a physical artifact to go to a class? How many primary schools do we have in St. Lucia? Clearly, the advantages that we can use the technology for. Yet, we must remain vigilant. As much as we have all these opportunities, we must remain vigilant. Just as access to AI-driven education can deepen inequalities, so too can access to AI-driven heritage. I think the biggest threat for us with AI is that those who have get better and leave behind those who do not have. And I think in the Global South, we should not repeat the same mistake that happened when the Global North leapfrogged and moved forward. We must ensure local communities are equipped with the tools and the knowledge to take part in this digital transformation, and that their stories are told in an exclusive and respectful way. I want to end here by saying AI is not just a tool for economic development. It is a force that will shape our future in a myriad ways, including how we preserve and how we share our heritage. If we harness it wisely, we can drive inclusive growth, modernize education, empower societies, and protect our cultural legacy. But as we embrace it and its potential, we must also approach it with caution, preparing for the risks while ensuring that both our economy and our heritage and by extension, our entire civilization in the global south are part of this era of innovation. Thank you.
So Dr. Rigobert, has Dr. Folger secured his spot as one of the presenters? Oh, so he has been successful at securing his spot. That was fantastic. And they say the humanities are dead. Nobody is studying history anymore. Nobody is studying the languages anymore. You understand that archaeological, what is it? You always connect. I call you a history teacher, a historian.
Historical anthropology.
A historical anthropologist understands the importance of AI in the classroom, understands, and teach your son to use the right prompts. Don't tell ChatGPT to write for an 11-year-old. All right, with that said, we welcome another partner with some remarks. We welcome Ms. Linnell Malzer from the Ministry of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Training with a few remarks.
Bonjour tout le monde. Et puis permission pour adopter le protocole. Vous jouez ça. This summit plays into my greatest fantasy. 4 years in a previous life, myself and Dr. Rigobert had toyed with the possibility of a conference like this. And it's important for the Innovation Division that these types of conference help us to secure our blueprint in the innovation space. It helps us to put forward our indices for innovation. So I'm very glad that we are in this space, in this time, having this conversation. In an ever-evolving world where challenges abound and opportunities beckon, I am here representing the Bureau of relentless seekers of knowledge and passion in advocacy for innovation, the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training, who has endorsed this AI Global South Summit. We understand that the time is now to embrace artificial intelligence, not because it is trending, because it's a radical industry or it's disruptive, but because we understand its infinite potential in propelling our country's development agenda. We know that those who are reluctant to use AI will eventually be left behind. It is sad, but it is true. And if we look around us, sometimes we see certain age groups fumbling with their mobile phones. It's because at the time when it came, we resisted, and so some people got left behind. And in this time, we cannot let ourselves fall again. This does not just hold for the digital space, but in every aspect of life. AI will influence the kinds of dishes that we prepare. AI will decide when it's best to collect the garbage in your community. And as you know, the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training is not in the business of leaving the people of St. Lucia behind. In fact, we embrace lifelong learning to ensure that the young and the old child isn't left behind. Embedded in the strategies for our department is the use of AI. And we use it to accelerate our clerical work. We use it to prompt some of our speeches, to get relevant global perspectives. And in recent times, we have adopted an artificially intelligent tool, which is called the Pearl, a product of the OECF EDMU's hackathon, designed as a minimum viable product now, but it will help us in our lesson planning as teachers, feedback to students, and creating summative assessments that are very predictive and analytic. Just a few weeks ago, the CARICOM Transformative Education Symposium in the Cayman Islands, they presented their papers and their learnings in the area of AI in the classroom. This would indicate that we don't have a choice as a nation. there is buy-in in the region, and so we must move with the time. It is clear that AI and the ethical implications of AI in education has the making of a redefining for our champions. On that note, the Department of Education, Innovation and Vocational Training wishes to thank the AI Global South Summit 2024 organizing team. And I say 2024 because there's an aspiration that is to become a staple on our calendar in St. Lucia, that you have chosen to bring this event to our shores. We see this summit and the fringe events as an opportunity to further enrich the national conversation on AI, addressing the social and ethical issues with the view to abate fears. We all know that in our society there are persons with significant inhibitions where this is concerned, and therefore the more we talk about it, the more engaged we get and the more clarity others will gain, not just persons in the scholarly space, but our ordinary persons who will get insights to help them put their fears at bay. With your global partnership, we see this forum as a means of introducing perspectives that we had not considered because of our close space. We see it bringing us more culturally relevant experiences and expanding our cultural capital. We hope to gain insights into the best practices while we are pursuing best practices, but we know that with your international partners, there are greater possibilities ahead, and to build strategic partnerships with these persons that we meet. In the classroom context, we see the summit as opening the conversation for the value of personalized learning, just as Dr. Pujans had indicated earlier, and efficiency both inside and outside of the classroom for not just the teacher, but the student, for the parent. Imagine you as a parent able to design a curriculum that meets the need of your child based on your knowledge and understanding of your child and the age group that they are in at the time. We also see it as an outlet of potentially putting out our white papers developed by the St. Lucia Education Innovation Hub on teaching and learning practices that we have that may help to influence the rest of the world and the region. But significantly, we want to applaud you for taking on the task of including youth culture and heritage. I believe that our creative industry is our superpower. It is our competitive advantage. St. Lucians bring a height to a situation that nobody else can. Trinidadians come close, but that's negotiable. Yes, so we are very, very happy that you have chosen to bring these conversations together, because ordinarily people consider activities such as a global summit to be for scholars and persons and the well-read, and we do not esteem persons in the creative industries as being just as read. So we are applauding you on this support. We wish your event every success and advise the nation and all those who are listening that those who embrace AI will be those who win. I thank you.
I like those closing words because, this year there was a WhatsApp message going around about all the firsts this year for St. Lucia. First gold medalist won by Juju. Our Kings won first time, CBL. And now it looks like on the list we have to include the first time ever, this conference AI Summit here in St. Lucia. And as has been said over and over again, it looks like 2024 is the year for St. Lucia. Yes? So thank you so much for having this conference here. I would like to invite at this point Ms. Kimani Goran, who is the legal from a legal perspective on AI, and she will be delivering a few remarks about the summit. Thank you so much.
Don't worry, I'm not going to give you out. So what I wanted to talk about, I wanted it to be a little bit slightly informal but slightly technical, because we've talked about AI and all of the things we can do with AI. My background is intellectual property, technology, and investment law. Now, we've talked about all of the wonderful things that we can do, but nobody thinks about the regulatory environment behind it and what makes it work. Now, when we're talking about what we can do with the technology, we have to think about economic, social, and cultural impact. We're not thinking about that. And how is that regulated? And how do you create an economy for your country? And how your data and your knowledge and your wisdom that comes from your society and your people is turned into economic, social, and cultural impact for your people. And I want to tell you, I've been working with AI for a very long time because intellectual property deals with AI on a regular basis. As a matter of fact, if you're a patent lawyer, you've been working with AI forever because that's how you do patent landscaping. That is how you sift through like millions of patents across the world to do patent search for your clients. So this is not something new. It's very old technology. It's just that now that we have more memory, more powerful computers, there's a lot more that can be done. So that's my, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, here we go. So I don't want to get too technical, but this is an area of research that I work on. It's called live data. And the idea for live data is to give, we're working on at the moment in the Faculty of Law I work for, Maastricht University, is to give everyone in the world, and I also work for the World Intellectual Property Organization, I forgot to say, is to give everyone in the world a right to live data. Now what this means is that it's a type of intellectual property right. So it's a type of right that gives you property rights over all of your digital footprint and your digital footprint in connection with all of your real world activity. And your digital footprint and your country's digital footprint and the knowledge in your country, all of that knowledge becomes a knowledge bank for your country. So this is where we need to move from, the idea that everyone on the planet has their own digital footprint and their own knowledge footprint, and that becomes part of them and their culture and their society, and it becomes a property right in the society that then can be used by any sorts of tools and products that are developed on AI platforms that can be used and that can be returned into the economy. Because what we are doing with AI, we are exploiting knowledge, we are exploiting data, lots of personal data, lots of cultural data, lots of historical data, lots of knowledge that people have in computers. There's lots of things going on. And the idea is that you capture the economic, cultural value and social and cultural value of that and make sure that we don't engage in a transfer of value that results in a transfer of value, meaning economic, cultural, and knowledge value away from the global south, which incidentally has more knowledge than it knows it has much more knowledge than the place I'm coming from right now, has a lot more knowledge about its environment, flora, fauna, and so on, that we have just not properly invested science, technology, and understanding in developing. And as I was saying, one of our problems is our regulatory environment. Now, everywhere in the Caribbean and many places in the global south, you have very little intellectual property law. And there has traditionally been a fear of intellectual property law because we have perceived knowledge or economically valuable knowledge as something coming from outside of our countries. But the only reason for that is that we have not invested in developing the knowledge we already have and are very valuable pieces of knowledge in our own societies to develop medicines and different sorts of technologies based on our traditional knowledge of plants, flora, and fauna. This is just one aspect of it. Okay, so the thing about AI and intellectual property is that it presents opportunities and it presents challenges. One of the opportunities that it presents for our traditional knowledge in our flora and fauna is that now anthropologists, I like anthropologists by the way, anthropologists, because they have a lot to help us learn about our traditional knowledge and to connect our traditional knowledge about plants, flora, and fauna, and the way people have lived in environments and societies with technology and developing pharmaceuticals and all sorts of other things that we can do to valorize what we have. So in the intellectual property arena, anthropologists are also important. They're also important as economic drivers. People in the creative industries are important. They're important as economic drivers. And the average, your neighbor, your grandmother, who knows about that plant over there, she's important because she has that knowledge. That knowledge just has not been invested in to develop. Now the danger we have with AI is this type of knowledge being already shared in the digital environment is being sucked up by those who already have leapfrogged before us. They have the proper intellectual property systems. They're already putting in place the AI systems. The law faculty I work for, they have contributed significantly to the AI bill passed by the European Union recently. And then we in the Caribbean, we, for example, in St. Lucia, have no protocol, right? So what we need to understand is that the regulatory environment for AI is not really a specific AI regulation, although that's necessary. The first regulation for AI is actually copyright law. And the reason for that is copyright law is about copyright in databases and copyright in computer programs. If you have a computer program, it's protected by copyright. If you have a database of all this wonderful data, technological data, heritage data, cultural data, it's protected by copyright. Not only is the data in it protected by copyright, the configuration of the database as a computer program is protected by copyright. So we've been dealing with this forever, and what we've been trying to prevent is the transfer of value, to try to ensure that people in the global south reap the economic, cultural, and social benefits of their cultural knowledge, their traditional scientific knowledge, which is what I like to call traditional knowledge, and everything in their societies that they can use to leapfrog forward. One of the great things about AI in, for example, pharmaceutical development is that it can help many developing countries take knowledge about different chemicals within plants and the knowledge they have, traditional knowledge they have about how these plants are used, and use use algorithms to get them closer to discovering drugs on their own, without the need for extreme levels of external intervention, and at a more cost-effective way. So when I talk about intellectual property, from the ground up, we need the basis to protect our databases, our knowledge databases. We need the biological patent laws and all of that to protect our biological information in this environment. And we also need traditional knowledge law, which we do have. And we need that. So while we're talking about AI and the thing and the technology, the foundation of it is actually intellectual property law that needs to be sorted out. And then we can actually deal with the AI regulation. And because if we don't deal with that foundation, we're building on top of knowledge, we're building on top of systems that are owned by other people. We're not building our own systems. Then we are putting our data, our information, our knowledge into their systems that are being then harvested by them without the proper legislation in place to protect our rights and make sure that our people reap the full benefits of what is theirs and what is rightfully theirs, and to take the rightful place in the global economy.
Thank you. Wow. Very good.
That was definitely riveting. And of course, she will be presenting at the conference, at the summit. Pardon me? Is she taking questions now? Is she taking questions now? So of course, if you want to hear a little bit more, you need to register for this summit taking place on the 29th to the 31st at the Royalton. And of course, this morning we heard and we learned that there is a wide spectrum of what is going to be presented at the summit. We looked at education, we looked at technology, we looked at youth, we looked at law, the legal ramifications of AI. And so therefore we're expecting a fantastic conference this year. And to close off this morning, we would like to invite once more Dr. Gail Ringwood with closing remarks. Who am I supposed to be inviting? Jermaine. So I would like to invite Jermaine with the closing remarks to deliver some remarks on, to thank our partners and our sponsors. And while Jermaine sorts himself out, I continue once again to thank you all for being here this morning, and to also to say to you that to make Sir Arthur Lewis Community College your #1 choice for the young people who are graduating from secondary school, because we are trying to implement AI in most of our teaching and learning here at the college. And so with that, we will end with the closing remarks to be delivered by Dr. Gail Ringwood.
Do forgive me. We've got so many valuable partners in this space, and I really wanted to afford everyone a moment, but you can appreciate this is a press launch, and we are offering you just the precursor to the awesome treat that awaits you over the 3 days, 29th to 31st, right here in St. Lucia at the Royalton Hotel. I am just so very pleased with how the summit has evolved. Dr. Phil just mentioned a moment ago, how did you pull this off in a couple of months? This usually takes a year to plan. But in usual Gale style, stormy winds, healthy winds, and with the great partnerships that we have benefited from, we've been able to truncate what otherwise would have taken us ideally 12 months to plan. It therefore is incumbent upon me to thank all of you. When I sat in my office at the University of St. Martin, having just attended the Caribbean Studies Association conference, and hearing some passing commentary on AI and how it is likely to affect us in the Caribbean, I was provoked into taking a deeper dive into this. And thankfully, I was surrounded by persons who were equally curious about AI and terrified that if we do not engage with the issues, that yet again another technological revolution may result in our further marginalization. I called my colleague, Minister in St. Lucia, to do some brainstorming, and we were both equally excited about what this means for education. Dr. Didicus Jules from the OECS has been our fuel, keeping us up, doing this, wanting to bring this to a wider audience. As I reached out to my colleagues at UNICEF and UNESCO, they too shared our enthusiasm and excitement, wanting to convene this conversation. We have had valuable exchanges with Export St. Lucia, several meetings. Mr. Luisi at the Chamber of Commerce. The Royal St. Lucia Police Force and the Fire Service are equally excited about this. Our partners here in this room, in the persons or entities of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and UE Global Campus. Every door that we have knocked on, we have been very warmly received. The various marketing companies that have partnered with us, the Students' National Youth Council, and very importantly, as both the speakers who preceded me did indicate, the creative industry sector, the players in that space. very often not afforded the stage to tell their story in the first person. Very often having to sit with their talent as a hobby and not something that can very delicately be monetized while also being preserved. Kimani just set in place the importance of having the legal and regulatory framework so as to serve as guardrails around the various activities on island and within the global south. I therefore want to accentuate that this is possible precisely because of people like you. All I did was to sit with a wild idea, called some well-known geeks who will match my energy, excitement, and therefore I really want to thank my co-founder, Kem Lauren Lubin, our partners from Waterloo University, Carleton University, UE Global, and in fact, I must say the encouragement that we got from the principal of UE Five Islands was very encouraging, him having just hosted and concluded an AI conference in July. And that is why we are very, very clear when we say this is a conversation, a continuing conversation and dialogue, not in competition with anyone, but in collaboration with all who recognize that this is urgent. We need to step up to the plate and ensure that we are not left behind. It is for everyone. It does not require that you are an expert. And I will share with you one of the quotations that I often use when I autograph the book that I had authored over 2 decades ago, entitled Bridging the Digital Divide, Prospects for the Caribbean in the New Techno-Economic Paradigm, which incidentally was launched here at Sir Arthur Lewis Community College well over 15 or more years ago. And when I do autograph that book, I remind the reader that we may not always have the answer, but at least we owe it to humanity to pose the question. I thank you.
Question: will the world be a better place when we embrace the limitless possibilities of AI? The answer: absolutely. AI holds the power to transform societies, solve global challenges, and drive sustainable growth, especially when fueled by the ingenuity of the Global South. At the AI Global South Summit 2024, innovation meets purpose. Join us as the Global South emerges as a leader in artificial intelligence, offering fresh perspectives on ethical AI, cultural preservation, and technology for sustainable development. Hear from thought leaders like Dr. Benitez Jules from UACS, Dr. Paul Hector from UNESCO, Javid Samuel, and Sanovic Destin. Be part of vital conversations that will shape our future. It's where innovation, ethics, and global collaboration unite to drive meaningful change. AI Summit 2024, where empowering futures are built together. Co-chairs of the summit, Dr. Gail Rigobert and Kem Lauren Lubin, look forward to welcoming you. Register today at AIGlobalSouthSummit.com and lead the change. 29th to 31st October, the Royalton Hotel, St. Lucia.
And with that, we conclude our press launch for this morning. We thank you all for having come. Ek passe bonne journée tout le monde. Have a good day.